Here we are under the boat, and I'm going to drill out or cut out the holes for inspection ports, which I just received from Boat Warehouse. So as you can see, one there. I'm going to go with the smaller one at the back, and again one here, and I'll put a further one up on the bow here somewhere. So let's start putting holes in the boat. Okay, a slight cock up. Nice circle, but somehow I completely mismeasured this. I think when I tried to get the pen behind the plastic to draw, the tip of the pen wasn't quite reaching the, so as you see here, there's a bit of a lip, so maybe I wasn't quite reaching the edge, and as you can see, there's no black texture on there, which is what I was drawing with, so I must have been touching that circle. So the first one ended up too big. And these, well, this one ended up, again, too big because I used the smaller inspection port, but once I filed that out, it suits the slightly bigger one, the 125, and you can see here the sort of cock up I made with the texture. So I knew what I was doing wrong this time and got this one done better, so I need to work out how to make this hole smaller. Okay, I've had a think about this, and what I wanted to do anyway was, given these create a bit of a weak point, was put some ply on the back there. Boy, it's hot in there, and you can see it really is just the tape that's holding these together. It smells like the 1970s in there too. I can hear the faint sound of disco music. If I'm going to put backing onto here so that these have, well, one, strengthen the structure, and two, to double up beyond the 4mm ply or whatever I've got there to, say, 8mm. That then gives me something to screw into when fixing the inspection ports. What I'll do is seal this one completely, glue that back in, epoxy it, fill, and then I'll cut the hole out again. That's going to be a bit of extra work, but that's what happens when you make stupid mistakes. So okay, so you can see how I've managed these repairs. Well, this one's not repaired yet, but this one, half is in, that's strengthening, and what I'll do is then cut out the circle, so it'll give me a sort of double backed piece that's coming down here to strengthen up supports here, and also it'll fill these holes here. I'm not sure why they were there. Similarly over for this one. Now, what I've also done is hit this with a very light coat of epoxy, and similar the front here where I've removed all of the, and I'm continuing to do that across here, even the stuff that looks like it was on. If you hit it with a scraper, it tends to come off here. The old sealer, the old epoxy, well, it's not epoxy, but it's the old coating. Okay, it is day 2 of the long weekend. I've started fairing it, and I don't know whether you can see here, but this is filling in nicely the kind of raw bits left by the cut fiberglass that I used. Now, initially I was trying to put this on with a metal scraper, but a metal scraper will not bend to the shape of your ply, so I started using one of these disposable plaster things, and it works exceptionally well. So because it bends, you know, to pretty much the same degree as a piece of ply, so you can get very smooth edges. That might need to be gone over again there, but it's but actually once I sand, that's going to do a good job of filling it up. Now I also found another problem here. So when I cut off this, and I was going to plane this back on an angle so I can then put a new one on overlapping, but as you can see, it's actually rotted the ply here and into the inwales, innels. So I figure putting a piece of ply on over the top here, and well, if I cut out there, I can put a new piece of ply in, but then I've got to overlap something to do that. So I took off these sort of front bits that you have for the let's get under the boat. And what I think I'll also have to do is cut off here, and I'll overlap a piece of ply here to fix the rotted bit. So that's just another annoying task I've got to do. You can also see here where it was a bit of a mess. It had kind of eroded away where the forestay connector point, D-bolt, whatever you call it, pad was sitting. So I filled that. I'll sand that back and we'll get a nice smooth bit there. Maybe put some fiberglass over that as well to make that nice and strong. So okay, it rained last night, so we're back under cover. Another couple of jobs completed. I have put on this last little bit to infill here so I can cut out properly the shape. I'll need to tidy up those edges a little bit and sand them and that sort of stuff with some thickened epoxy. And what I have also put on is our rub rail. So just what do you call it, blended those two together, and I'll then just cut that off at the front. Looks like I put that nail a little bit far, sorry, that screw a little bit far forward to cut through, so that'll have to come out once it's dried, but we'll then just cut it off square and we'll be done. So last thing to do is I'm going to scrape a bit more of this off. Where it sort of has these edges here, I think it's definitely important to take it off. But further up the back here, where it seems a bit better, you kind of really struggle to get it off. So, I don't know. I'll see how I go sanding and that sort of stuff. Another update. I have, whoops, if I get out of the sun, put on the updated rub rail here. I managed to strip all of the, now I was thinking it was polyester resin on top, but actually it probably would have just been the varnish. So I've stripped all of that from this side, did the same on the front here. I've given it a coat of epoxy just to sort of, again, plasticize the ply. I've sanded down where the fairing was done. There's still a bit of, you can see with the shapes here, still a bit of surface unevenness, but I'm going to put a coat on of the undercoat, see whether that takes up some of it. I can then sand that. It does say on the can it obliterates surface irregularities, so we'll try and see if it lives up to its promises. And yeah, we're just about ready to kick things off with the painting. So this is the one I fixed here. I'll just give that a bit of a sand on the front, and we're done with those. So I guess what I've got to do, therefore that kind of advances the work I need to start on the underside here, as to put those on permanently. I'm going to need to varnish and sand those surfaces there. I guess I can probably do that without tackling here, and I'll come to those bits maybe later on, because as you can see, those, I don't know whether it's the tape that's coming off there or whether it's just the varnish that's peeling off, but we'll see, I guess. At least once the hull is watertight, I can sail it, and then we can work out this stuff over the longer term.